What's up, my SAT fiends? That definitely sounded way less cool in reality than the way I imagined it. What's up, my SAT freaks, geeks, and fiends? That sounds a little better. Freaks, geeks, and fiends. Freaks, geeks, and weebs? Dweebs? Weebs? Fiends. Peens. Okay, I don't know what to call you guys. All right, what's up? What's up, kiddos? Now I sound like a boomer. Hey, kids. Let's get into another SAT Solve Live. Today is May 21st. I am a little sleep deprived, but whatever. Let's go. We're going to go into the College Board SAT practice test number 6. I'll be solving this live. Let me take a quick glance at it to see if I've actually solved it before, ever. But no, never seen this. Never seen this. So, hey, it's a good, nice, clean stream of me genuinely having to solve these questions under constraints of time and high uncertainty. Okay, so in this stream, I'll just be going through my usual strategy, which is I read the questions. I read the passages first. I do not read the questions first. I think it's a waste of time. I read the passage first. And when I read the passage, I try to stay engaged in the sense that I try to predict what the passage is about, and I constantly update my predictions as I go. I was like, oh, I think it's about this and this and that. Okay, I will try to verbalize that as much as possible. But I am staying engaged, I'm kind of moving, I'm dancing with the passage. I'm not just sort of spaced out, floating above the passage, but I'm there in the thick of it. And I try to have, and by the end of it, what should happen is I should have a decent memory of what happened in the passage and how it flowed from one point to the next. I call this the map of my passage. I use my map of the passage to then, for every single question, predict the answer to the question before I even look at the answer choices, so that I don't get all tangled up in like the process of elimination hell that often ensues. I try to just know what the right answer is up front before going in. Oftentimes, I don't even look back at the passage. I know because my map of the passage is so good, I try to have like 5 out of 10 questions. That's a little high, but I do. I try to have like 5 out of 10 questions where I don't even look back at the passage. I just circle the answer right away. Okay, so that's my approach to the SAT. I'm sticking this in at the beginning of my streams because I'm getting a lot of questions about this. So now you'll see how well it actually works. Does it work? Well, I got a 790, by the way, on the May SAT, which I found out yesterday, so it works. Spoiler, I'm not bad. Okay, so I'm going to show you my screen now. Give me a sec. Oops, wrong screen. Okay. My iPad screen is what I meant. So this is my iPad screen. Let me now connect the YouTube chat so that at least for future viewers who are not in the live stream, they can actually follow along. Give me a sec. And if anybody is watching during the live stream, you are allowed to ask questions throughout the test. Depending on how much time pressure I feel, I may or may not be able to give full answers, but I'll throw out like quick, brief answers when I can. And during breaks, there will be no breaks, basically. I might take a break after 3 passages just because I might get tired just from talking all the time. But I will do sort of deeper answers to any of the questions that I get after I finish the entire test. Okay, so let me just quickly update the YouTube chat. Okay, so this should be updating now, and I will be getting into practice test number 6. By the way, guys, if you wanna actually take a practice test before watching the stream, it could be helpful for you. My schedule is in the description below. So hit up that description, scroll down a little bit, and I'm gonna probably. I kind of am a little flexible with my schedule, but just know that the next test I'm gonna do is practice test number 5, and then I think it's 3 and then 1. No, it's then 4 and then 2. Okay, so just be, you can keep aware of the practice test that I will be going over. So just, yeah, you can stay abreast of it and stay ahead of me. Okay, and finally, guys, if you're not in the Discord yet, you're missing out. Join the Discord. I'm not desperate. You're desperate. Okay. Okay. Now let's get into it. Okay, so I have my stopwatch. I just turned on guided access. That way I don't get any notifications, and also the screen doesn't turn off. Here we go. I'm about to get started. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh, I should stand up. Nawibdin. That must be like an ethnicity. Wait, what? Okay, never mind. That's strangely titled. It's a name. 12 daughters. It was a spur. Oh, okay. See, anyone else might have thrown up when they have 12 daughters, but it actually made him more motivated, satisfaction, like a warrior. He must proliferate his source of revenue. Okay, it's spurring his genius for making money. The salary was not enough. Okay, for the tube wells. Okay, for the tube wells, not enough. So he had a mill that he ran, a condemned electric motor, condemned by him. Hilarious. Fish farming, broken radios, watches. That did spectacularly badly. He got kicked. Okay. Wow, he is a very entrepreneurial. KK Haruni rarely went to his, is that his name? Farms, but lived mostly in Lahore. Whenever Lahore, the old man visited, Nawab would place himself it's 2 different characters. Night and day at the door, leading from the servant sitting area. Hang on. The old man is KK. He would place himself there. He placed himself there. Grizzled, his particular. Okay, he's serving KK. Tended the machinery. Okay. He's a servant. He's an engineer kind of. Okay, he's a handyman. Almost managed to maintain the same mechanical cocoon that the landowner enjoyed. Okay, KK is the landowner. Keeping him in a cocoon. We're keeping him comfortable. Haruni, of course, became familiar with this ubiquitous man. So maybe this is his stroke of luck. Not morning and night, he was there relentlessly. Finally, okay, here. Nawab asked something. He's gonna do something with a little bit of gusto. Go ahead. Okay, he earns some social credit. We don't know what's gonna happen. This might all come crashing. Your land stretch from here to the Indus. He's very wealthy. Okay. Fully 17 wells. Just one man. Your servant. These gray hairs. My weakness. Release me. Huh. Though not usually this floor. This is an interesting this is kind of a lull. Waited for the breeze to stop. What's the matter, Nawabdin? Okay, what's the real reason, guy? And what's the solution? The crux. I cannot longer... Hang on, let me reread this. I skimmed this with my old legs, injuries, bicycling. Except... Okay, so this is a very heartless man. A motorcycle, then I could limp along. Okay, he's requesting a motorcycle. Oh, this is not going the way I was expecting. The crops that year have been good. The crops were good, so he felt expansive. He felt generous. I swear to God, there's gonna be a question about the word expansive. To the disgust of the farm managers, he gets a motorcycle, Honda. Even an allowance for gasoline. It increases his status. He becomes uncle and asks his opinion on world affairs about which he knew nothing. Now he can spend his, okay. I see, to educate, oh man. Firoza. He would fly down this road. So this is his victory. His victory is just a machine gun. When he hit a bump, flapping these wings with all of these bags and cloths, his grinning face. Wow, that's a heartwarming, but it's like a crazy victory. It's like such a crazy world. It's such a different world from our world. All right, here's my map of the passage. I stopped time. I'm at 5:15. Okay, so I'm just zooming out so I can't see the passage anymore. Here we go. 3 columns, top to bottom, left to right. How much do I remember? Here we go. By the way, actually, this is my first time, so I'll explain. The reason I do this, the reason I stop time I do this is not to help myself know how to answer the questions. On the real test, I think it really doesn't make any difference. Okay, maybe there's a residual benefit, but it really doesn't help. It's just more to let you guys know how much I remember so that you guys can compare. When you guys do this, when you guys read a passage and then stop, and then you try to do a map of the passage, you'll notice that usually I'll remember more than you do. Okay, so you should. And that's normal, right? A tutor should probably remember more. Someone who's better than you at reading should probably remember more than you. But you should go and test yourselves. Now here's mine. Nawab. I'm gonna call him N, okay? Because I don't want to keep butchering his name. Nawabdin. Anyway, I'm gonna call him N. N and KK, okay? So N has 12 daughters, but it is a spur to his genius. Top left, spur to his genius. Any other man would be broken by the weight of his responsibilities, but Nawabdin, he actually is very active. You know, he tries fixing radio. So first of all, he has a salary from fixing the wells of some sort of wells, right? Later on, we find that it's 17 wells. He has a salary doing something with wells, but it's not enough for his 12 daughters. So he does a bunch of other things. He tries to fix radios, something. He has a little farm of some sort, like a one-man farm, and then he has, and then this is the middle of the left column, but he has like he tries a watch repair business, but he gets his ass kicked because maybe multiple times because none of his watches work. So yeah, that's basically how he's like an entrepreneur, very energetic man. So I actually thought he was going to be kind of young, but which turns out later on he's not. So by the bottom of the left column, what happens is he's actually, what happened? Okay. I think we start talking about KK, actually. I think we talk about KK. Right. KK comes out. KK, and we find out he's the landowner by the middle of the right column, okay? So KK comes out. He is, I don't remember what description we had about KK, but in the top of the right column, we have Nawabdin and KK, and they're talking, and Nawabdin has been serving him for a long time. Oh my God, I do not remember. For the love of God, I do not remember the second column at the bottom of the left column, and I do not remember the top of the right column at all. Okay, I just do not. But there is one thing at some point, somewhere in that rough vicinity, where we start talking about how much Nawabdin does. You know, he's working, he works, he's ubiquitous, you know, he's everywhere on this farm, or on this plantation, on this place, this big place that KK owns. You know, he's like a handyman he's a jack of all trades. He's fixing this and that. Okay, and we can tell by the middle of the right column that basically he's kind of seeking to approach KK for some reason. Okay. Now, starting at the bottom of the right column, okay, the second column on the first page, right on the first page, that's actually the second column, right? So starting at the bottom of the right bottom of the right side, we actually see him finding his opportunity to talk to KK and begins to ask him, may I have a word? Okay, this is after probably years where he's become familiar with Nawabuddin. So the top right now, we're at the top of the next page, okay? The third column top. Nawabuddin talks about how he's hurting, he's old, it's tough, please just let me go. He makes this request that he wants to be retired from service. I've been serving you, but now I'm no longer functional. And KK's like, what the heck is the matter? That's not the real that's not really what you want. What's the matter? So he keeps talking about how his so his bike is something. He can't bicycle anymore is one of the big details. And then KK is like, what is the solution? Right? So KK is not having this whole thing about letting me go. So then he says, a motorcycle would be nice. And KK, he had a good harvest recently. He had a good harvest. He owned 17 wells and he had a good harvest. And so he's feeling generous. What was the word? Expansive. He's feeling expansive. And so he decides, yeah, you get your Honda. And he gets his Honda. And N is thrilled to have this Honda. Okay? It raises his stature, raises his status, his stature. He gets asked, this is actually pretty hilarious. Some of the other people are pissed, they're miffed. But he's getting asked questions about current events, which is such a funny detail. I love that detail. But more importantly, and this is the heartwarming part, his wife wanted to live in this F town, I forget what it's called, but F for Farola or something, F town, which is far from the farm. But now he can drive. He can drive on the motorcycle back to his daughters every night and see his wife. And he has all these bags and all these things on his motorcycle so that every time it bumps, every time it runs into a bump in the road, it rattles, it actually flutters like wings. He flies. Such a good passage. I mangled the second column, but such a good passage. It's such a good passage. I remember the whole thing, basically. I wouldn't give myself an A+ because I kind of mangled the second column, but my memory of it was still pretty freaking good and detailed, very detailed, I think. So I'm going to give myself, even though I missed the sequencing of it, I'm going to give myself an A- for that. How well did you do on your map of the passage? Okay, I'm going to start time again. We're at 5:15. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Zoom. Here we go. The main purpose of the first paragraph is to talk about how he's not broken. He was characterizing him not necessarily as loving, okay, but his various money making. Exactly. Let me just double check because that first paragraph, yes, that's all the work. Okay, cool. That's 540. Oh man, that could have been a no-look answer, but it wasn't a no-look answer. 16 kicks. Oh, that's when he gets his ass whooped. So most normally means complaints. Hang on. I didn't fully understand that. It earned him more complaints than kudos. So complaints is the best. I was imagining physical kicks, but they're interpreting it as metaphorical kicks. Uses the image of an engineer at sea. I was also seeing him as a younger person. Image of an engineer at sea, 23, 28, engineer at sea. I don't remember this engineer at sea, 23, 28. Grizzled, his aviator glasses bent as much. He tended like an engineer on a steamer, which is a boat. To show how not professional, but it's like a vibe of how handy he is. Okay, it's emphasizing how handy he is, how skilled he is. Almost not skilled, but handy. Like not many different. Okay, that doesn't emphasize. For how demanding could be. That's kind of strange. More exciting is off. Primary, it doesn't. demanding? Let me double check. Demanding. Grizzled, his aviator, he tended the machinery, the conditioners, the heaters, like an engineer. By his superhuman efforts, yes, okay, demanding is correct because of superhuman. Okay, that's the context that explains that took 1 minute and 20 seconds. Superhuman, let's look at superhuman, that is 28 through 30. 28 through 30, yep. Okay, oh, wait, hang on. Well, this is the cocoon. Sorry, wow, I almost didn't. Yeah, the cocoon. This is the cocoon. Cocoon is well. Cocoon is well. Okay. That took me 20 seconds. I almost misread that question and screwed that up, but thankfully it was still the same context. The context of the conversation between Nawab and Haruni, KK, his comments serve to, it's a misdirection, okay? 4352. Sir, you're flattering him. Now let me. Yeah. It's a misdirection. It's like a more exaggerated request to make his other requests more reasonable, okay? Flatter, that's true. It does flatter, but let me just double check. Boast, no. Emphasize diligence and. It does do that. It manages, hang on, what's the question again? Mainly serve to, see, I would say it's mainly served to what I said, but they're doing a more shallow reading of it, which is kind of annoying, but okay. Release me, I ask, beg you. In your service, just one man. What? I guess diligence and loyalty, man, but it's kind of iffy. That's like not the. I don't love that wording. It's. I don't know, man. It's how that. I'm just getting through it by process elimination mainly, not because it sounds right. It doesn't really sound right. Bridegroom, emphasize that he's no longer. Hey, Pratham, awesome. I didn't fully read it. 62. He can, like a bride, like he's not so young anymore, okay? He's no longer young, yeah. 950, he's no longer young and healthy. Okay, it can reasonably be inferred from the passage that he, for his comfort, remember? Most eloquent, sees benefit to himself. Yep, exactly. 10 minutes and 5 seconds. And I'm moving to, I still have another one. So this is the comfort. The comfort happens over here, okay? Comfort happens over here. He didn't, 66 to 68, so that's there. That's 10, 20. And then the farm reacts with disgust, or no, envy, because, let me just double check. It's over here. So too much to disgust. The literal word is disgust. What the why is this question here? What the hell? Disgust better be the right answer. If envy is the right answer, I'm gonna murder my microphone. What does Nawab consider to be the best result of getting the best result? Was it, probably more time with his wife, but let me just make sure that he actually specifically says this, because that's what it should be. Best of all, there we go. Best of all. Okay. 11:15. I'm moving on. $15.40. Good job, man. Good job, Coleman. I'm so glad to see that. Say that. Coleman, Anthony Morrison, Public Trust and News. Here we go. Public trust. I think it's going down over time, maybe. The news is a form of public knowledge, unlike personal, private knowledge, such as between people. It increases as a shared by more. Okay, that makes sense. election dates, candidate claims, causes and consequences, debate. Yeah, sure. Public knowledge informs citizens. In contrast, which is left to public knowledge is promoted even to those who think it might not matter. In short, public knowledge in community use, it's like a public good, cannot be so. Wow, crazy and interesting argument, but sure, yeah. I guess for democracy, maybe it shouldn't be dependent on demand. Like, it's the production circulation is complex. Should be authoritative, okay? But what should they and who should explain it? And how should it be determined? Okay, historically, newspapers were the authorities. They embodied the power, influence. Yeah, okay, yeah. The demand has been for all authority to make explicit the frames of value, explicitly framing what values are determining your decisions. And news have not been exempt. They feel uneasy about this renegotiation. Okay, so this is a change. This is the change. Wow, that's actually pretty hard to catch. Editors are casting a glance at the most read. Okay, so this is actually a different transition. Okay, it's kind of weirdly formatted also. Democratizing could be dumbing down. Disengagement. Oh, this is a quotation. That's why it's formatted strange like that. Despite the bluster, okay, of these statements, they're not just defensiveness. Okay. They're seeking to argue what? A particular mode of public knowledge, one is shaped by experts, immune from populist pressures. Okay, I see. Yeah. The authority, the traditional view, it's a view of citizenship, closes down upper new popular. Well, now I don't know which side this guy's on now. By reinforcing professional claims of experts. Now we are skeptical towards the experts. Should be informative rather, so it's changing, a growing feeling that raw. So now we have two conceptions. The journalists we have quoted are resistant to democracy of the supremacy of the clickstream. Hang on. The parody of popular culture with serious news. Right. When popular culture and serious news gets, right, clickstream and this and raw rather than constructed. Huh. Why are there three things here? But sure. But this is all democratization. Okay. But what's the second conception? That's not very clear what that is. And also my iPad is stuck. Something's happening where I can't do anything with it. Okay, it crashed. Bruh, what the hell? All of my... That's annoying. all of this got erased, but it's okay. I don't need it. It's just, but it's nice for me to have it so that I know later on what happened. But whatever. Hang on. Come on. 16, 15. There we go. Now I'm gonna do my map of the passage, but that was actually a really confusing passage to. Like, it's hard to map this, but I'll try it anyway. Okay, so here's my map of this passage. My nose is like itchy. Like, why is it so itchy? My lunch might have been too greasy. Sometimes this happens when I have like greasy food. Okay, so passage. Oh, I'll skip to the next page. Map of the passage, map of the passage. Oh. Ah. Okay, first paragraph. There is something called public knowledge and private knowledge. Okay, and private knowledge is like talking to your family, your friends, your lovers, your secret liaisons, whatever, sure. And then public knowledge is stuff like the news, where actually it gets more valuable it gets more valuable the more that people know it, right? Like election dates and stuff like that. Well, so that's the first paragraph. Starting in it's still basically the top of the left column, but moving on, it says that historically, public knowledge has been sort of the purveyors of public knowledge has been things like the BBC, like news institutions. Oh, before that, it says something about how it's independent of demand. No, that's probably after that. Never mind. I'm mixing up the order. Okay, but anyway, at some point it says something about the history, and so I think history comes first. It talks about how news sources used to be the authorities of public knowledge, and so they would have this influence, all right, over what people would think. However, there's been a change where now we no longer really we demand there's this thing about what is worth turning into public knowledge, who deserves to relay the public knowledge, and how do we know that they have the reputation for, how do we evaluate the reputation of these things, okay? And I think that gets mixed up, it's somewhere here, and then it talks about how it's suggesting that the news organizations are finding some resistance. Okay, I'm a little fuzzy on this part, but yeah, that's basically, we get to this point by the bottom of the left column. After that, it says something like, newspaper people are resisting this. They don't like this erosion of their authority. And at the very top right, there is a quotation where I don't fully remember all the wording there, but basically it's a slightly arrogant dismissal of this idea that editors have to look at most viewed articles and stuff like that they're focusing on what works, what's popular, what sells, okay? That editors should be able to sort of be immune from popular prejudice, that they can be kind of just focusing on what the experts are saying, okay? I'm actually blending the interpretation and the quotation. So the quotation says a bunch of things, and then what I just summarized was actually what the author is saying, okay? The author calls him, despite the blustering of these people, okay, what they're actually driving at is he doesn't say traditional, but a traditional conception of authority where the newspaper people decide what is the public knowledge that should be there. Decide what public knowledge should be, okay? That's what they are arguing for. and then some stuff happens and I don't fully remember what happens. And then at the bottom, it says, yeah, there's actually two conceptions now. Because people want to have some participation in like these days, people kind of have this desire to be part of the process of shaping the public knowledge, okay, through the through probably the internet. He doesn't say the internet, but basically the internet. And but he actually said TV at some point, so I don't fully understand the position. But whatever, TV or internet or something, democratization of public knowledge, and the journalists are resisting it. So at the very end, what they are doing is they're actually resisting democratization. They're resisting, the conflation of serious news versus sort of like popular news. And the parity is the hard word that he uses, and stuff like that. I don't fully remember all the details there. It was a hard passage for me to organize, but I would say my map of the passage was still somewhere in like the B-ish range. I wouldn't say B+, maybe B-, B to B- range. I still remember most of the important parts. Definitely, I'll be like B or B- for that map of the passage. Okay, how good was your map of the passage? All right, let's go. I'm going into the questions now, all right? Or I have to start with the infographic. I have to start with this chart first. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. They see news, okay, they prefer the raw, remember. They prefer the raw. So now that means that they're gonna start being against the news over time, right? It's dropping. It's dropping. This is increasing. Yeah. This is dropping, increasing. This is dropping. This is increasing. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, people have less trust in news, which is not exactly the same as what the passage was talking about, but it's it's adjacent, and it's pretty useful. Okay, main purpose of the passage. Okay, I'm using my map of the passage to basically predict these answers. The purpose of the passage is to discuss what's at stake in this debate about who deserves to have the authority of over public knowledge. Okay, technological developments, no. Purpose of the passage is changes in the perception of news as a source of public knowledge. I think that's basically right. Okay, this has changed. Not how they influence. And not challenging a conventional view that news is. No. 1735. What expression? So I didn't even look back at the passage. I just chose it and moved on. According to the passage, which expectation do traditional authorities now face? They want to be part of it. They want to be part of it. This is not that they should be uninfluenced. Not that they should be no. Transparent. Okay. They also have to explicitly explain what their reasoning is to their audience, which wasn't the case before. This is in the bottom left, so it might be something like, I'm looking at this, but that seems about right, 33, 38. Yep, the demand is to make explicit, that's correct. Okay, 1820, so pretty quick, man. This is like a minute-ish for these 3 questions, a minute and a half maybe. Common, 24 common. My nose keeps being itchy. There's not always common agreement about what the public. Yeah. There's not always shared agreement. There's not like a wide good. 1845. Extend the quotation to show what he means by the resistance, not to criticize, to cite represented exactly. 1855. Public is coming to believe that the reports should avoid editorializing, personal judgments. Exactly. They should keep it raw. They should keep it raw. See, look at how many that I'm answering without even looking back at the passage, how many no-look answers I'm doing. This is in the top right, so it's probably around 40. Not surprising. No, it's later. Hang on, what was the question again? I just lost track because I was like trying to explain something while also answering. Personal judgments, this is bottom right, yeah. So bottom right, raw, that's 75. right? And that's correct. Yes, that's exactly correct. I lost time on that because I kind of got lost with my own explanations to you guys. But yeah, raw means unfiltered. Yeah, just exactly as it is. That took me 5 seconds. Okay, based on table, in which year were people the most trusting? The most trusting is definitely the longest time ago. Longest time ago, 1985. I don't even need to double check really, but trusting, is there a specific word for trusting? No, there isn't. But it's all, yeah, it's on the left, 1985. See, honestly, I didn't even need to check that one because I just knew because I read it correctly the first time, right? What's best supported by the information in the table? It eroded over time. Okay. No, the proportion of story, no, this is perception, who believed that they were biased almost doubled. Okay, let's look at this. This makes sense. 1992 and 2003. 1992 and 2003, biased. Okay. Huh. Wait, what does biased? Hang on, what? Okay, that doesn't even. Were biased? Okay, that seems. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Changed very little. I don't think so. 2007, 2011. Did anything? Okay. Let's look for bias first, and then fairness changed very little between 2003, 2007. So where's bias, right? Tend to favor one side. That's two. No, the doubling is not correct. So 2003, 2007. Let's look at 2003, 2007. What was 2003, 2007? Accurate, independence, fairness. 2003, 2007. Accurate, independence, and fairness. Oh my God, that's such a. Oh, dude. Come on, College Board. You're just making me go through all of that. 2011 data in the table best serve as evidence of. Best serve as evidence of 2011 data. How much it went up? That's evidence of how distrusting they are. No, not disengagement, of skepticism. Yeah, skepticism. 22:15. All right. Moving on to the third passage. Here we go. Third passage. Here we go. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stop right here. You know why? Because I was going to take a break at the third passage, but like, dude, I'm like, physically something's happening right now with me, and like just my body's just not reacting very well. You know, like I'm getting very itchy, and it's just a little embarrassing. To TBH, it's a little embarrassing to be like scratching my nose all the time while taking this test. So I'm gonna just take a quick. I'm gonna take a quick walk, drink some water. I feel some sleepiness coming on because I am a little sleep deprived. So let me just take a quick 8-minute break, right? And I'll be right back, okay? And I'll refresh myself. Okay, what's up? I I'm just trying to I'm being as hyper as possible to counteract my body's fundamental sleepiness because I think what's happening with me right now is that I just drank way too much coffee to overcompensate for my lack of sleep. So my body's just going crazy right now. But you know what? The show must go on. So here we go. All right. I'm going to move on to a third passage. All right, here we go. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Youngstead, decoding a flower's message. How beautiful. All right, text of gourd vines. Unfurl their large flared blossoms in the dim hours before sunrise. How beautiful. Until they close at noon. They close at noon. So before sunrise, and then they close at noon, and then their bees come to gather nectar. But when you shuttle these pollen from flower to flower, when you advertise to pollinators, you advertise in an open communication network, OCN, okay? Says Ian Baldwin in Germany. You attract not just the good guys, you attract the bad guys. So you get these beetles. They're very bad. They shit in the flowers and they have this bacterial they're the worst. They're horrible, man. A heap of collapsed tissue. I have all these Elden Ring images in my head right now as I'm reading this. they're miserable. They're the worst. In one recent study, Tace and Adler took on this specific problem: how to attract good people but not bad people. That's what I perennially wonder about with my Discord. All you bad people out there shitting in my flowers. The Texas gourd vine's main pollinators are honeybees and specialized squash bees. Honeybees and squash bees. 10 compounds. The most abundant one is... Okay, this is... Dude, I need to know like a shorthand for bio and chemistry. Intuition suggests, hang on, so this is a recent study. Should be even more appealing if we have a lot of it that we should get. But apparently, that idea hasn't been tested, okay? And it could call in more beetles, exactly. So, let's test it. One in an Iowa field. They made them more fragrant with using that I414DM. 45 times more fragrant, okay? You know, that's kind of like when you go into a subway, you're in a subway train and you smell their perfume like crazy. Would the beetles impose a double cost? Oh, this is also wanted to know. Plucked all the beetles. How does that help? That's a little confused. Okay, off of half of them. Okay, wait, so it's 2 experiments on one, but if you pluck them all, then what happens? Oh, because by being there, laden with, right, because by being there, they might actually have a deterrence effect. Okay. Finally, they pollinated by hand half of the female flowers in each of the 4 combinations. So this is a third experiment. Wow, okay. Half of the female flowers. There's 4 combinations of fragrance and beetles. Okay, I'm kind of confused, but sure. Aren't there 3? But hand-pollinated flowers should develop into fruits with maximum number of seeds. What? I'm confused. Wait, first, where's these 4, right? You divide them, and then you get 2 halves over here. Oh, and half of the control flower. Okay, that's where there's 4. Okay, that's 4. Okay. Hand pollination. Why should they develop into fruits with the most number of seeds? Is that some sort of control? That's very confusing. 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Two-minute interval, that is pretty intense. That is very intense. Double the number of beetles, okay? Pollinators did not prefer, yes, I predicted this. I said when you smell too much perfume, indifferent and less often. But they were not repelled by the abundance of beetles, and yes, okay. Less reproduction for fragrance enhanced. Okay, naturally, the flowers know that if they put too much perfume on, too much fragrance on, they're not going to get that many pollinators. They don't know, no, it's a metaphor. Hand pollination did not rescue the seed set. They weighed 8% less, by the way, and 20 fewer seeds. They damage the flowers directly. This is different from the repellents. Damage versus repelling, that's two different things. Hand pollination did rescue fruit weight. Hard to, okay. Wait. Huh. Hand pollination rescued the fruit weight? How does that work? That's very confusing. Okay. You don't get more pollinators, you get ripped apart by enemies. You get direct damage. You get direct damage as well as repelling damage. Right? You get repelling damage as well, right? Okay, that was really hard actually for me. Okay, maybe I'm just not in a good condition, but stop. And I'll show you, I'm going to show you my map of the passage. I'm going to show you what's in my head, what I remember about this passage, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. We have flowers in the night, these Texas gourd flowers that bloom, or so they open up in the morning, in the dawn, and then close up at noon, and during that time, pollinators, the bees come by and spread the pollen and all that stuff. This is the first paragraph, top left. The problem, though, is this is an open communication network. This is still top left, getting towards middle left. And so it also brings in the beetles. These beetles are miserable bastards. They crap in the flowers and whatever. They do real bad things. They damage the flowers. Sure. They're bad citizens, okay? Some German guy was describing this, I forget, but then now we have TNA. Okay, we're in the middle of the left column, we have TNA, and they are, they're like, hey, well, no one has ever tested whether this fragrance would bring more beetles or not. So let's test it, okay? So they take like 168 flowers or something like that, I don't remember. And they planted in Ohio or something, these Texas gourd flowers, and they're going to test it by using this sort of compound, okay? These fragrances that the flowers give off is made up of like some dozen or so, like 18 compounds, but one of them is particularly prominent. It's like the 1,4-dimethylbenzyl something, and that's the most prominent one. That's the one that brings the bees to the yard. Damn right. It's better than yours. And so we have this fragrance that's being artificially created, and so half of these flowers they jack up with this fragrance. Okay, the idea is the beetles may actually come and counteract the bees from actually from pollinating it even more. And turns out it's basically true because, but before we do that, we're still in the top right now. We're getting to the top right. We're still talking about the experiment. And this experiment is kind of strange because you take an original group and you divide it into half, which is normal, a control and a experimental variable, a treatment variable, or it's a control group and a treatment group, right? But then we divide that into half, and now we have not hand pollination. Now you have oh, why did they split that up the first time? They split it up the first time because they were looking for beetle removal, manual beetle removal. Okay, they wanted to test. Okay, when you remove the beetles manually, then do the bees come back? Basically, okay. But then they did a third experiment on this. Okay, because it's reasonable because of something that happens later, but they do a third experiment on this where they also hand pollinate these flowers. They hand pollinate these flowers. Okay? Like they bypass the bees pollinating altogether and see what happens. And now I guess that makes some sense. I didn't realize at the time, but it makes sense. Like if the bees don't come in and pollinate, then maybe if you hand pollinate them, can you you can still see the extent of the damage of the beetles. Okay, so I'm sorry, guys. My face is just itchy, and it's not a good look. It's not a good look, but I'm just gonna have to keep doing it because I'm talking, I'm thinking, I'm really like it's gonna take too much mental energy for me to stop myself doing it when I'm itching. It's not. I know it's kind of gross. Maybe I should just turn my camera off, honestly. but I'm just dude, my body. I'm just having such a hard time today. Anyway. God, this is so not sexy. Thank God I already have. I'm already in a serious relationship. Oh God, this is such an embarrassing video. Well, anyway, what I was saying is that there's a third experiment where they hand pollinate. Okay, this is the top right. Now we're moving to the middle right, and in the middle right, the results come out. Yeah, actually, it turns out the beetles did a lot of damage. By first of all repelling. Okay, they believe that the beetles did repel based on data. But moreover, weirdly enough, even when you hand pollinate, no wait, that part's a little confusing actually. I don't fully understand the results. It's actually kind of confusing. Apparently they repelled. Apparently they did damage. Yeah, apparently they repelled. Oh, and the flowers did. By the way, the bees also didn't love the fragrance. Okay, they didn't come back. They think it was because they repelled. The beetles repelled, but the beetles also damaged directly because even when you remove the beetles, the weight of the fruit, something went down, something like that. Yeah, something bad. The beetles basically. Big picture is that when you jack up the fragrance, when you triple spray that perfume, you don't really get more pollination. You actually get less or something like that. Okay, so that was my map of the passage. I'm going to give myself a grade of B- or C+. I would say B- because I still remembered everything. It's just that I didn't remember the results. Okay, so that's a C+. That's a C+. I'm going to give myself a C+. How did you do on your map of the passage? Okay. Can you use your map to predict the answers to these questions? I'm about to do it right now. 3, 2, 1, let's go. The primary purpose of the passage is to detail a specific experiment that tests, okay? Yeah, that tests this thing with the beetles. 2945. Primarily on which type? The direct observation. They created it. Oops. 2950. Striped cucumber beetles. This is top left. Inferred. Hang on, let me just double check. Is this top left? Striped cucumber beetles are very bad. They chew up the pollen petals, they defecate and transmit a disease. Primarily, we don't know. We don't know if they're less. Hey, why would that be? We were talking about flowers here. Yeah, they are attracted to the same compound. You know why? Because more of them come. More of them come. Let me just double check over here. It's going to be over here. Double. Yep, that's 65, 66. More of them come. In fact, I'm going to write it down over here, 65, 66. That's a good question. If they had more aromatic, were more aromatic, increase their scent, yeah. 31:05. Wait. Oh, I didn't write the time for the previous one. Line 65 to 66. 38 treated. Treated means applied, probably. 38. Okay. Soaked. Provided. Wait, what? Treated. By tucking these swabs, okay, which are treated with the chemical, which are, these swabs are altered with this chemical or provided with this chemical? Altered, I guess. What the hell? What? But she adds that inside their flowers. Okay. Okay. Only altered is accurate, at least. I mean, it's not very precise, but it's accurate. What did TNA do that most directly allowed to reason that? They were repelled not by the fragrance itself. Okay. The way we know this is because they removed the beetles. They removed the beetles. No, not between that. Oh, I guess that is that, but I don't actually fully remember that. Beetle-free enhanced flowers and beetle-free normal flowers, but that's true. But do we get results for that? Okay, that seems right, but something feels a little weird there. Best evidence, so yeah, that's over here, right? 72 to 74, but if you want to see specifically the beetle free, that's 45 to 50. 45 to 50. Forty-five to 50 is the more direct one. Yeah. 34. 7th and 8th. This is summarizing these findings, right? 65 to 85. That's what the last one's. 65 to 85. Yeah. This is the results. Yeah. That's the results. 34, 18, 20, I mean. Indifferent. They didn't care whether the fragrance were there. They could not. We don't know if they could not. Visited, yeah, equal rate. 34, 35. Oh, not beetle infested versus beetle free. That's not the case because it's talking about the fragrance at that point. I don't need to look back. I know that from my map of the passage. An answer to which of the questions do beetles? Why do? Why is there an upper limit on the intensity of the aroma? Yeah, that makes sense. If there's too much, then it would harm them. Why is there? I'm gonna do process elimination just to be 100% sure in this one because I feel something a little iffy here. No, we don't know why it rescues fruit. Wait, okay, that's the very end. Why do stop? No, hey, we don't know about stop producing. We don't know about stop producing. Okay, so we're gonna go with intensity, upper limit, because that's over here, right? 75, 76, basically. Okay, 17 and 22. Let's look at 17 and 22 first, because I'm going to emergency mode. 22, 17 is incorrect. 22 is incorrect. 79 and 85. 79 and 85. Oh, 85. Oh, I forgot that there was a third column. A reason. Oh my God, never evolved. Oh my God, duh. I completely forgot the third column. That wasted my time. That was a map failure. That was a map failure. My map failed me there. It's rare for me actually to have such a failure in the map. Here we go. Lincoln, Youngman's Lyceum, and Thoreau, resistance to civil government. This is 11 years from each other. 11 years from each other. And the focus is going to be about civil resistance, okay? Never violate the laws of the country. I see, that's going to be, and then here we already have unjust laws. I just saw that immediately. Okay, obey the law. The patriots of 1776 did. That's trampling on the blood of the father, tearing the character down, children's liberty. Let reverence for the law breathed by every mother, babe, schools, seminaries, colleges, everywhere. Political religion of the nation. Everyone sacrifice unceasingly. Huh, I wonder why he's emphasizing this so hard. Like, what's the benefit? When I so pressingly urge a strict observance, okay. No, he thinks that, yeah, okay, there's not no bad laws. They should be repealed, although bad laws should be repealed, while they're in force, they should be observed. If not too intolerable, this is an interesting. What is the definition of too intolerable, though? Okay, you should bear with them if they're not too intolerable. Okay, mob law is not a better alternative for anything else. Okay, the spreading of abolitionism is an example. It's right within itself and therefore deserves the protection of all law, or it's wrong and therefore properly prohibited. Okay, so law is supposed to judge that. Okay, and you shouldn't have mob law on either side. Even if you are against slavery, obey the law. Okay, even if you are against slavery, don't begin mob justice. Shall we obey them, or should we amend them and obey until we have succeeded, or shall we, and here we go, or shall we transgress them immediately? Think they ought to wait, but the government's fault. It's the government's fault that the remedy is worse. Okay? So the remedy is the resistance. Okay, we're talking about the resistance. The resistance, it's the government that makes it resist. The government should realize that people will resist when it's, okay, why does the crime, okay, that's an interesting argument, okay? If the injustice is part of the necessary fiction, let it go. If the injustice is part of the necessary fiction of the mission, which injustice? Which injustice? What injustice is he talking about? Oh, I see. I see, interesting. Okay, this is where the position comes out. If it requires you to be the agent of injustice to another, then break the law. But if this injustice requires you to be unjust to others, then break the law. Stop the machine. Huh. The ways which the state has provided for remedying, it's too slow, and man's life will be gone. I have other things to do. I'm just gonna live a moral life. A man has not everything to do, but something. He cannot do everything. But it's not necessary to do something wrong. Okay, that's more persuasive. This is a fun passage because we're actually refuting. Abolitionists should withdraw their support from the government. They should not wait. They should be more radical. It's enough if God is on your side. You don't have to wait for the other God of government. 40, wow, that is a powerful argument. Powerful argument, stop. Okay, I'm gonna go and move into my map of the passage, here we go. Whew. By the way, guys, yes, even though I am taking the test, you can ask questions and I'll just shoot out my answers when I can. I'm not in the best condition today. I feel like I'm gonna make some mistakes, but whatever, man. I'm just leaning into it. Let's go. Map of the passage. Passage 1 is Lincoln. Let me zoom out so I can't see anything. Okay. Passage one is Lincoln, and he says, for this whole first paragraph, it's a big, long, florid paragraph, which starts from the top and goes all the way to almost the bottom. Really, it's the top and middle of the left column. He says, "Let everyone obey the law. Let it be the state, like the political religion of our nation. Every mom, every babe, every school, every church, let it be taught everywhere." Okay, that's basically it. He's talking to a bunch of young men, as in probably college age people, men. Okay. And I assume the context here, now if you're good with history, you can assume this. What year was it? I'm not gonna check. Okay. Without checking though, I would say that this is before the Civil War, and because I actually wasn't paying attention when I read it, but it is before 1860s, and so these young men are very fired up because they're against this evil of slavery, and Abraham Lincoln is just trying to keep things calm. Okay, so bottom left, top right, what Abraham Lincoln says is, if there is an injustice, work to amend that law. Do not break it. Okay? Wait. As long as it is not intolerable to you, wait until the law is fixed. Until then, obey the law. Top right, he says, mob law is never a good answer in the face of injustice. When there is an injustice and there is a moral injustice, the law there's only two options: that the law ought to either adopt that morality, accept that morality, moral truth, and change as a result, or the law will reject that as a false morality and remain the same. There's only two options. It's about the law. If this third option does not exist, of mob law, of people just taking the law into their own hands. Okay, that's Abraham Lincoln's position, which ends on the top right. Now, starting from the middle right, or top middle right, second passage. Now we have Thoreau. Thoreau is now talking 11 years later. He says, many people believe that when a law is unjust, they should just wait until it changes. He says that's ridiculous. Trying to remember. He asked a bunch of rhetorical questions, but that's basically the point at the beginning. And then he says, then he says, I have my own life to live. That comes at the bottom right, but I'm trying to remember the middle right. At some point he says, I wish all the abolitionists would disobey the law immediately. That's actually the third column. That's the next page. What else does he say? He says something about obeying. Why should you obey? No one is required to do something wrong. He says that it's the government's fault if we rebel, and that is a problem, right? Like, if we resist a unjust law and that causes friction, okay, that's not our fault. That's the government's fault, or something like that. But before that, he even says something like, if there is an injustice, this is the beginning. This is the thing I was trying to remember. If there is an injustice, but this is some part of the necessary friction of government, then sure, let it be. Don't ignore it. Let's just obey it. It's fine. But if this injustice requires you to perform an injustice, okay, it requires you to be unjust to your neighbor, disobey it. Do not follow it. That's what he says. That's the second paragraph. And then it talks about all the other stuff I said about it's kind of a mangled mess right now. And then it talks about how, and the ways that the government offers to amend the laws, that's ridiculous, too slow. I have other things to do. Human beings, we can't focus on everything in the world. We have something we need to live for. We can't just wait. Don't make us wait. So the next column says, hey, abolitionists, I would be so on your side if you just straight up rejected this government. So that's basically the flip side of Lincoln. Okay, so that was my map of the passage. I would give myself a B+. I'd give myself a B. I was really good with the Abraham Lincoln. I kind of mangled Thoreau, but I still remember all of his points. So I would say B+, because I do remember everything he said. I think maybe I missed some minor things, but I got basically everything he said. I don't have the sequence very clearly in my head. All right, so that means that I should be pretty confident going into the questions and just predicting the answers. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Dude, slow, wasting time. Okay. Breaking the law has which consequences? Breaking the law has which consequences? I actually don't remember this. I'm going to repeat. I think it's AA, because we're looking at the first paragraph. Yeah, it's definitely a B. Not A. Because what happens is it's like a spitting in the grave of your father, right? Trample on the blood of the father. 10 to 12. Okay, 9 to 12. 9 to 12. Yep. Okay. It is the nation's values, but that's kind of a little iffy. Let's look at 20 and 33. Just double checking. 20. Nope. 33. Nope. 36 is probably incorrect as well. 36. Over here. Yep. Those are all wrong, so just eliminate them. 43, 55. Here we go. Urge, I beg you, right? What's this urge? 24. So when I personally urge, I emphasize, require, advocate. Okay, 4410. Which function? 24, 28, 24, 28. Okay, this is a concession. Of course, bad laws may exist. I don't know if it refutes. A shortcoming? No. Yes. Hang on. It substantiates a central assumption of the argument. It doesn't refute, does it? Okay, no. It's just clarifying what he's saying. Yep. Ooh, that's a hard one. My head, I'm honestly a little dizzy right now, so I'm just gonna move on. And I do feel not super confident in that answer. But guys, I'm actually struggling real hard now. 32. So also in unprovided cases. So also in unprovided cases. So also in unprovided cases. What does unprovided refer to? But I do mean to say that all the bylaws should be repealed as soon as possible. But I do mean to say all the hang on, what's this unprovided? Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong word. Okay, 32, observed. Should be realistically followed, obeyed. Oh my God, I wasted so much time. I wasted so much time looking at the wrong word. Dude. Unjust aspects of the government are it's the fault of the government. Okay, or self-correcting, no. Some are inevitable and should be endured. That's the one where it's necessary. 4605, that's necessary for the friction. This is over here. If the injustice, let it go. 58 to 60, 58 to 60. Okay, 4615. Moving on. The primary purpose of each passage is to urge people to obey or not obey the law, and why. About the difference, no. Enacted and changed only? No. Yep. 46, 40. So look at how, yeah. I didn't count how many answers I chose without looking back. Would most likely describe that Thoreau recommends in 6466. 6466 must be the part where he says disobey. Yeah, break the law. If it requires you to do injustice, break the law. Excusable to intolerable, that's interesting, but Lincoln doesn't say that. Yeah, exactly. Huh. One commonality in the approach towards abolitionism is the law should change. What's a commonality? I see. But they both think it should accept it. They both view the cause essential to their argument as warranting drastic action. Huh. Oh. What? Widespread acceptance. What does he say? Okay, what does Lincoln say about abolitionism? Does that come over here? In any case that arises, for instance, in any case that arises, one or two positions. Huh. It's either right or wrong. What? Central? How do you know? How can you defend Central? I would choose B, but how do you even defend it? How do you even defend it? I mean, from my contextual information, like because I know, I would just go with it. But okay, moving on. I'm not in the best condition today, guys. So I don't know if it's the questions that are causing problems or if it's actually just my brain. What tech is next for the solar industry? What's the future technology? Solar panel installations grow quickly, but the manufacturing is indulgent because supply far exceeds demand. Okay, so the demand is not very good. But the advances continue. Optimistic. Ooh, conventional crystalline silicon, which is conventional. They cost $4 a few years ago. That they never go below $1. Now it's hitting something like 50 cents or even 36. So Martin Green was a hater. Even sooner, nice. 6 pence per kilowatt hour, which is cheaper than the average cost from natural gas power plants. Wow, cool. Steady cost reductions. Oh. This is silicon solar panel industry. Oh. Pastes, which are mundane. He used expensive lithography techniques, made it possible to use screen printing. But gradual improvements, so screen printing techniques can produce 30 micrometers. Far lower than lithography. Okay, I see. Record efficiency in 1990s. Okay. By using, okay, cool. So we can use common technology to even make really advanced things now. Flexible solar cells on Corning willow glass. Rolled up, that's interesting. The only challenger to silicon in terms of large-scale production, cadmium telluride. Lower the cost of installing specifically. JZ. A two-sided solar cell, also light from both the front and back. Cool. Right. Particularly well when bent on sand, which is highly reflective. Okay, so that's a good that's a good 20% increase? Yeah. Longer term, silicon. Huge reduction in cost already seen with the technology. One or two other semiconductors to efficiently convert a part of the solar spectrum that silicon doesn't. Okay, so you can you're making like a hybrid, right? Cutting in half the number of something needed. Connections is the challenge. The challenge is the connections. Crystalline, okay. These atoms, 53, 10. Oh, guys, I'm struggling hella hard, but I'm gonna keep going. Finish this off. Okay. I don't think my map is gonna be very good on this one, but let me. No, it's okay. I'm gonna give my map of the passage. I don't know if it's gonna be very good, but I'm gonna try. And here we go. Oh. Solar has been not succeeding super, like it's not been super successful. Okay, solar energy has not been super successful because the supply far exceeds the demand, and so there's this idea that it might be hindering innovation. But actually, when the author went to this one convention or something, he found the mood is still very optimistic about the future of this technology. That's the first paragraph. And after that, it says something about how the cost has dropped a lot. Okay, back in the day, even a couple years ago, silicon used to be a couple dollars per kilowatt or something. I don't remember what it is, but a couple dollars. And this guy named Martin Green, was like, it'll never go under $1. But now it's already close to like 50 cents and maybe even 34 cents. Okay, that's like the second paragraph. Now we're moving to left column middle. We're moving to the left column middle. After that, it says something about I'm struggling. Something about how Green had all this innovation in 1990s, but he had to use this like really expensive lithography machine, which is used, something. It's very expensive. And somehow in the last couple decades, like just regular print, like some kind of common technology, some sort of normal technology, some sort of printing technology has become so effective at this, they can make like 30 micrometers stuff on the silicon, something like that. So basically, it's reaching the same. It's the 1990s record is still an amazing record high efficiency, but using these very cheap machines, they can approach the much higher efficiency rates of these solar cells these days. Now we're moving to the bottom of the left column, and it's talking about how there's this different competitor. This moves to the top right, this cadmium something. It's a different competitor. I forget the technology that it relies on. I think this is the foldable glass one, based on the Corning something, foldable glass, Welling something. Okay, I don't remember all the names. I like but something, right? So foldable glass, that's the top right. And I guess people are excited about that, but I don't remember the point about that particular example. And then moving to the middle of the right column, there's this other technology, and I don't remember what it is. Something with silicon, I forget. But then it says even more long. The third one. Okay, I see. I do remember. Jay-Z. The Chinese guy, Jay-Z, is building double-sided solar panels or solar cells. So that's going to reduce the cost of, that's going to increase efficiency, whereas the cadmium one, it reduces the cost of installation. Okay, so now we're in the middle and kind of getting towards the bottom even of the right column, and it says something like, long term though, Green is betting on silicon. It's going to get super cheap. Moreover, you can kind of fuse it together with these semiconductors because there's certain ranges of the sunlight that silicon is not good at capturing. But if you use a semiconductor, then you can capture the other ranges, right? Something like that. The only problem is building the connectors in between the silicon and these semiconductors, right? Yo, that was actually really good, guys. That was a really good map of the passage. I would say that's an A- or A for sure. In fact, I think I remember almost the entire thing. Yeah. So hopefully this means that I can do a lot of no-look answers, and this time I'm going to keep track of it. How many no-look answers can I do just by my memory of this passage? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Ooh, the cost is actually solar is going to be really good. Look at that. Look at that huge difference, man. It's like 250 versus 75, That's like that's like 3 times at least. At least 3 times as good. Okay, 53 to 40. And it's dropping like crazy, dropping like crazy. Yeah, nothing to say. It's just getting very cheap, 53.50. So some of these are projections, by the way. They're about the future, so we don't know for sure. The passage written from the point of view of someone who has reporting other people's enthusiasm. Journalists, maybe. Not research. MIT Technology Review, yeah, that's definitely a journalist. He went to a conference. Yep. That's kind of like vaguely AP Lang feeling. Line 4, poor. Poor market. The poor market, as in the small and undeveloped and the humble, the weak market. Dude, I worked in business. The market is weak. That's very bro. Whoever wrote that question has never worked in business. Who says that? The weak market? The market is small, we say. It can most reasonably be inferred from the passage that many people in the solar panel industry believe that. The weak demand, by the way, that works, but weak market is very strange to say. It can be most reasonably inferred from the passage that many believe that it's going to be optimistic overall. They're optimistic overall. It's going to be much better. What? I guess this, too high, too low. Is this an evidence question? Yeah, 1 through 30, too high, too low. Let's look at the negatives. Okay, there we go. 30. Looking ways, cut and improve. All parts have been trying to make it cheaper. Okay, up to 30, 27.30. That's exactly correct. 55.50. Wait, how many no-look answers am I doing? I did none so far. Okay, two-sided solar panel, two-sided will raise efficiency by making it less expensive to install. Oh no, two-sided, sorry, is absorbing reflected light. That's true. This is a reflective bit, but maybe the 60-ish, let's look, 61, 64. Observe. Dude, I just lost track. But 63, 64 is about where the sand and the highly reflective, and I'm actually losing track of this question. Yeah. Highly reflective, yep, that's correct. 56, 40. None of these are no-look answers because it's kind of hard to do no-looks on these. 69, 69. 69, even longer term. Wait, hang on. I keep forgetting. Right now, my brain is absolute garbage. Betting on. I forgot that I was even looking for the word betting on. Believing in the future of. Is optimistic about. 57, 10. Mainly serves to. Oh, talking about one of the challenges that are remaining for silicon. A hurdle, yeah. 57.30. Okay. The cost of which of the fuels is closest to average electricity in figure 2 in 2017? In 2019, 2017. Oh my God. Okay, let's look. I have to break this down to two parts. So 2009 average cost is how much? 2009 average cost is 120. Okay, 2000 average cost is 120. So now we need to look at the question again. 2017. Okay, average cost 2017. Oh, this is 2017. 120. So what's the closest to 120? That's advanced nuclear. Whew, 58.20. Right, 120. Am I crazy right now? Okay, no, we're good. 120. In what year is the average cost of solar photovoltaic power equal to 120? according to figure 2, solar photovoltaic is used at 2009 average. Okay, 2009 average. Okay, so we have to just look for 120 on this. So 120 is here. So that's here. That's 2020. That even came out in the passage, right? Okay, guys, I am absolutely beat. I have 6 more minutes, guys, but I'm just so destroyed. My brain is such mush right now, and I don't know how over the course of like this 1.5 or 2 hours that I've been streaming that I just became such a zombie. You know, I was overcompensating by trying to be as hyper as possible in the beginning, but whoa, I'm dying, guys. So I'm gonna just I'm gonna go straight into correcting. This is not normally what I do, and this is not what I recommend that you guys do. You guys should definitely, after taking a test, don't go straight to looking at the answers. That's not a good habit. Okay, go back and try to figure it out to the best of your ability. You're kind of cheating. You're cheating yourself a lot if you go straight to the answers, like I'm about to do right now. But today I gotta finish the stream. I'm just struggling so hard. Thanks for understanding. Okay, I'm pulling up my answers right now. Okay, looking. Okay, here we go, reading. CBD are correct. And then I chose ACDB are correct. And then I chose BAD and 8. BAD are correct. That's 10 for 10. Oof. Okay. Oh, I'm dude. Okay, here we go. BDC starting at 11. BDC are correct. Then I chose CBA. CBA are correct. I need to put my mouse over here just to make it. Okay, good. Now, the DAA are correct. And then CC are correct. That's 11 for 11. 11 for 11. Let's go. Okay, I chose BADC. BADC. That's correct. And then I chose ADAA. ADAA. That's correct. And then over here, BBD are correct. That is 11 for 11 again. Whew. Wow, I'm doing really well, even though my brain is absolute garbage. BADC. Well, this is the part where I started really struggling, right? So let's see if I hold it up, because I was still pretty alert for the beginning. BADD, it says. BADD. Okay. And that makes sense. Anticipates and misinterpretation. That is such an obvious answer, and I don't know. I don't know why I chose such a bad answer. But D is so obviously correct. Yes. Of course, he's trying to clarify the thing that people might misinterpret. Okay. He says, I do not mean blah, 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 blah. So that's clearly the right answer, BADD. I got one wrong there. And then over here, ADC, 37. ADC are correct. And then over here, CBB, CB it says, hey, no, I'm at 40, right? CBB, 40 says CBD. I see, that's true, oh my God, that's true. I got it. You guys probably didn't hear that, right? Siri on my Apple Watch literally just said, true dat. True dat. Who wrote that joke? Guys, I made 2 really obvious mistakes on this passage. Anyway, I've become a wreck, a train wreck. Here we go. 43 to 45, CAC, 43, 45, CAC are correct. Then I chose DBC, DBB are correct. DBB are correct. 61, 62. Let's double check. Okay, 61, 62 reflects onto. Oh my God, that's pretty obvious too. The light reflects to increase the power output. Yeah, super obvious. This is just an inference. This is not bad, but it's just an inference. Okay, but this is the B is a much more direct evidence. So I got one wrong. Okay, and then here we go. DBDB, where am I? DBDB are correct. So I got 9 out of 10 on this one. So I got a total of 49 out of 52 in 59 minutes. 6 minutes remaining with my brain going to absolute shy two by the end. And me just sort of giving up even though I had 6 extra minutes. I think I probably could have gotten 52 out of 52 if I just didn't crash suddenly in the middle. But I mean, you guys know my actual SAT score. I've been publicizing it, so you guys can be the judge whether I'm BSing you or not. But yeah, that's sorry guys. I just was not feeling great today. My whole body was just reacting. I got all itchy and stuff, and it was not a great day for me to stream. But I'm glad that I could at least get through one more. I have a couple more. I think I have 3 more left. I want to push those out as soon as possible so I can keep it going. All right, guys. I think I need to take a quick nap. So, hey, want to remind you guys, no matter what happens, okay, don't focus so much on the numbers of these scores and whatnot. Just remind yourself that the most important thing you can do is to grow as a person, as a better person, and as a better holistic human being, okay? And the academics, the raw intellectual capabilities, right? They're just one part of you. That's not all that you are about. Yes, being smart, being intelligent, whatever. That's sexy. That's whatever. It gets you good jobs. But you know what? You can't just be intelligent today, right? What you can do though is you can do good things, and you can keep growing. You can keep growing. You can keep investing in yourself. You can put yourself around good people, get advice from mentors, from friends, from diverse people, right? And you can make yourself a better person. And if you keep doing that day by day, learn a little bit, stay a little more curious, right? And challenge yourself day by day, the SAT and college admissions and all that other stuff will follow. So I hope you can trust in that process, and I hope you invest in yourself and grow a little today. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you guys in the next one.